always, you want to take the friction out of the process. You want this to be a great experience for clients, and you give your agents those tools, right? You make sure that they're educated. You and I just share a lot of those values about education, empowerment, making sure that the customer experience is top notch, level 10 through the roof, that you're getting business by referrals, and that's just how it works, and especially in a small community, right? Because you
have to.
Yeah. So, you guys are the name out there, but what do you look for in partners? Because I know you've got title and you've got, we help when we can. Nothing is like officially, we're not partners, but we're partners in the sense of like core values line up and we like working together, right? We really enjoy working together. What do you look for? How do you pick those?
So when I bought the building that we're in now, it has other suites on the other side. And I was like, you know what? I really want to make a complex of partners that one-stop shop, that if you come to our office and you have questions about title, because we don't have all the answers on title. I don't have all the answers when it comes to lenders. That's why we have our partners, and how nice it would be for them to be in one convenient spot that you can just walk over and get the answers to your questions. So that was kind of the thought process. Okay, let's go find those partners. Yeah. And once,
you got home insurance, you got home insurance in there. You've got financial advising. It's actually really is incredible.
Yeah, it's come together pretty well. We have an Edward Jones office in there. They've been there going on their second year now. James has been in there now for I think a year at least, but he was in our office.
Had a 1 year anniversary. Yep.
And he's in their office and stuff quite a bit. We have Tanner Barnes with Farm Bureau Insurance. Yeah. He's there. And then in, probably May of this year, we had a Blue Ink Title come in there. Drake's Title was in there before. Drake's left Wickenburg. And then we said, I really want another title company. I think it's really important that we have one. And we moved Blue Ink in there. So really we have everybody there. And I was particular on who we wanted in there because those same things, the same values, the same morals, work ethic, customer service, 100%.
I probably cried like every day for 3 months because I felt like I'm not qualified to do this. I don't understand why. And I felt like God took control of my life and I couldn't understand why. And now I'm in my 8th month and I get it. I've actually learned a lot being in that facility, and I've grown a lot, and I'm helping people, and I'm, it's some of the people that I had in the beginning are calling me now, and they're like staying in touch with me, and I see how like just them being in the facility has affected them, positively. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. And it's really touching. And it's like, I teach them, about it all begins with your thoughts, and then your words, and then your actions. And so, and that's true in life and anything that you do, right? So to have this positive mindset and to try to manifest what it is that you want, right? And I've been telling them, I said, this is going to sound a little crazy. I said, but don't think about what you want. You have to think that you already have it to bring it near. And I'm like, you're like a beacon, a beacon. And I'm like, don't ever think about what you don't want. Only think about what you do want, right? And I'm like, and just keep that coming.
This is way back, but I remember the first deal we did, and I had flipped that deal into a primary home, and then the market tanked, and lost it all, right? And I remember at 33 living in a 1-bedroom guest house in the Coronado with no running water for 8 months with Brian Larvey.
Yes, I do remember.
He was like, I got a place to stay. And I'm like, well, this is better than the bridge that, I was thinking about sleeping under.
About that.
Yeah. So that was the reset. I remember sitting there with my dog Sinatra, 150-gallon empty saltwater fish tank. This is a sad sight, right? And Brian had an AC unit in there. So here in Phoenix, I'm like, dude, I got AC. I'm better off than anyone was 100 years ago.
And you were going to the gym to shower stuff, right?
I would get up in the morning, run over to my sister's house. Crystal was living right off of 7th Street. Hey, she was living with 2 Great Danes in a garage apartment house, a true studio, where it was like you could sit on the toilet, wash your hair, and brush your teeth all in the same time, right? But I would sneak in there. She would let me shower before work. I'd go to work, leave work, go to the gym, shower up before the gym. And then I had a whole routine since there was no running water, frequent visits to Coco's across the street.
Oh my God.
But that was...
People think that they've had it, they've gotten through something. That's getting through something.
Yeah, I think... and I had that sense of urgency and that awareness, I mean, in that moment, I can remember sitting there and thinking about some of my buddies who were getting ready to, they were talking about retiring from the armed services, and I'm like, dude, Dell, you zigged where you should have zagged, man. I mean, talk about not having to, pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. I mean, I was there, right? What I didn't realize at the time is that all the failure, all the lessons, you keep all of those. So, the next 10 years, right? The next 15 years, you get to collapse the value of all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That's a great way to put it. I just think timing it's like really getting the advice. I think the big takeaway here is like really getting the advice on from all these experts and how we all work together.
Yep.
I don't know that people would understand how tightly we work together when we're doing a transaction, but the 1031 and the lender are tied together the entire way.
I talk to lenders so often.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they're always asked, like, why do you need to talk to them? I'm like, I honestly, if you're not comfortable, that's fine. But I'm going to ask that even in an email, we include them so that I can, because we put everything in notes, right? Let's be honest. When it comes to taxes, everyone wants to get mad at some point over something and it's somehow our fault. Yeah. And I say, I'm sorry. Like, unfortunately, one, we can't even help with that. We don't do your taxes.
Yeah.
But it's good to have everyone working together.
Yep.
And specifically, like you said, I have clients the same thing. I tell them, do you have any losses this year? What's going on with these other things that I know you have going on? And it helps because I could take your fee and I could get paid off your deal. Great. But then you're not going to be my long-term client. You're not going to continuously want to work with me and build that portfolio because we didn't have those conversations. Right. So to me, I'd rather take that extra 30 minutes and say, let's just push this off a few months. And let's be honest, most business individuals are always extending their taxes also.
They are. We don't know what's happening from 25 until like the end of 26. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No,
and
I know.
There's so much that goes into it too.
No, it's absolutely right.
My very important point.
Good. I love
that.
It,
no, just my very important point about binary decisions, which, as human beings, we can only make binary decisions. And that's super important in design. And that's super important when, when I'm showing clients materials, right? I never say like, oh, look at all this possibility. This would be amazing. It's always like, we've already narrowed it down to 2.
I love that.
Like A or B. And it's easier for us as humans to make that choice. If you bring in a third thing, all of a sudden your mind keeps jumping around and you actually can't process it.
There's real science in this.
That's like a legit,
I didn't realize that.
You can do the research. I mean, somebody did the research on it.
Yeah, that's really crazy. So, I mean, that's why that works, because you're, okay, if this, then, it's kind of like just pick one and then from there you're going to build on that. Maybe there's another choice to come now based on, okay, it makes sense.
And then if you're like, okay, I like that one, but you wanted to see something else, okay, that's fine. Well, this one's gone. Yeah. And now let's bring out this one. And then you're like, oh no, I still like that one, which is most of the time what happens. But it's just that like reassurance.
So what does legacy mean to you? That's that's a big $1 million question at the end of my
Oh boy. She didn't even warn me for this, you guys.
No.
This is off the cuff. I mean, I think it could be so many different things, right? You can have personal legacy, professional legacy. For me, it's leaving people better than I found them. Right? If I can find a connection for them, whether it's personal or professional, that makes their lives better, I'm going to make that introduction. Like it would be selfish of me not to. If I can teach them something like putting in their home in an LLC so they don't get robbed while they're in the outfield, great. Exactly. That's what I want to save 1%. And sometimes they can't even measure that, right? They don't know that it was going to happen or wasn't going to happen. But I think just going in with good intention and trying to help other people succeed on your way to the top, that's important to me.
Yeah, I love that. Man, well said. I mean, it's perfect. I think I think that's all you can ask is for somebody to be genuine and give you caring, being a human,
for sure,
build a connection and give you the right advice that doesn't just serve you, but serves them too. So how much do you believe in leverage? Or even how do you, obviously people use it.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was using other people's money, but I was using it in a way that I would offer a guaranteed return on investment. So when rates were at like 7, I was offering 10% guaranteed on their money, and I would work that amount into my overall pro forma, just like I would like what the plumber's hard cost is going to be. Yeah. If it penciled with that, then I was going to do it. They were always friends. So it was also, I was contributing to their wealth while also getting to do what I love to do and growing my own. So I was never using my money in the beginning. And then I would, I had the house that I lived in. I ended up doing a cash out refi after it was done to pay my investors back. And I just sold that house for 1.25.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
Oh, I love it. So the structure, I do think people also think that they think of very linear, when they're just first learning about real estate and financing and leverage around it. It's like a very linear thought process for them. And there's so many creative, opportunities, to do. I mean, like you just said, leveraging somebody else's money as a partner, like maybe just a partner in the beginning, and then getting yourself out of it when you can. But getting started, I always say like the best time to buy real estate was 5 years ago,
100%.
And, even in times people are like, you wouldn't have said that in 2000. I'm like, you know what? I bought houses at the highest height of 2007 before the crash of 2008. And a couple of new builds that we bought in that time period, we held on to, although they went 50% worth what they were. We were like, we had a decent rate. They were rented, and we were like, we're going to keep them. And guess what? Now they're worth, now they're worth double what they were when we bought them. So it just is like, it pays for itself over time.
I always tell people like you want to plan on at least 10 years, so I have, former clients that they bought, and I think just before, like the month before June or whatever. Yeah. And 10 years later is when they're seeing the big return, like for a while. So it's always like, let's make sure you can pay that payment and be happy in that house for at least 10 years.
Yeah. I know so many business owners in general have such a hard time with the idea of scaling, or just don't know how to do it, or don't know how to get out of their own way.
Yes.
Do you think what holds back agents, from growth?
I mean, I think a lot of the mindset needs to shift, right? So when agents come into the business, a lot of the time it's almost like a limiting mindset, and it's you don't know what you don't know, right? But you get your real estate license, and they're like, all right, HGTV tells me a deal's going to fall in my lap. I'm going to go renovate this house for $20,000, and it's going to be big and beautiful.
Why does somebody want to start there?
It's going to take 3 days.
Yeah,
of course.
There'll be a film crew, and it'll be
right.
wonderful.
Why don't we all do it if it's that simple, right?
Exactly.
But I think when people get into the industry, they're very limited mindset as far as they don't want to spend the money to hire a mentor, to hire a team, right? Or a helper, even a TC, right? They want every penny to themselves, which I understand why you would go there. But the reality is that the best agents out there understand that the investment that you're making into yourself is 100% always worth the return, right? So any penny that you're spending that you can further yourself is always worth that penny spent. So whether that's, again, if you hire a mentor to show you how to do something, you're going to learn it so much faster. You're going to learn it so much easier than if you let yourself fumble through it. You're probably going to make some maybe crucial mistakes, and then also not get there as fast, right? So that takes more of your time from being able to serve more clients. So you're just limiting yourself in so many different ways, just straight out the gate.
Yeah. Whether your objective is to make money or make an impact or both,
Absolutely.
You're helping fewer people because you're doing everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You don't have, right. If you don't free up your time, which I think it's for a person, right? And that's what we're talking about. A person who decides, and most of the time, most kids don't go to school to graduate to be a real estate agent. Would love that. Should be courses in that. And not just our real estate school. You need more,
Better
right?
than the school.
But, so they come usually from work. I'm being told 24/7. What do I do? What time do I show up? What time do I go home? When's my lunch break? What's the workload I'm going to do? What are my job duties, right? And when you become an entrepreneur, and that's what you're doing, and that's really what Taylor and I try and hit home from the very beginning, is just like, you are building a business. This will not be easy. This is going to take and consume your day, your time, if you want to truly grow this and make it something that is going to be, that you're going to be successful at, right? And most people have zero concept.
Really, I wanted to give to my community where our building is. Yeah. And I wanted to be part of the history of downtown Phoenix.
Sure.
We're selling people homes in Phoenix, and it's rooted in a really deep history. Now we have the opportunity to own a building and nurture the culture from downtown.
Yep.
How do we become part of that? And part of that for us was we're in Roosevelt Arts District. And what better way than to invite artists in and have them hang their art in our space? In fact, our building, you won't drive by and you'll see our sign up in the little corner, right? Inspired Real Estate Life. But the business is Fifth Avenue Foundry. Okay. And Fifth Avenue Foundry is a community center for everyone to use. It isn't just ours. Oh. It's a blessing for everybody. So artists come in, they hang their art. We don't charge them anything like a typical gallery.
Yep.
And they invite all their people. We invite all of our people. And we get the opportunity for art to be accessible to everyday people, to our clients, to the neighbors, and a lot of our neighbors are artistic.
Yeah.
So we get the opportunity to showcase them.
Wealth management and having money is a misconception of just investing.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're not educated in that department, where a lot of people aren't, that's why you hire someone to take care of that for you. It's not just about the market and investing. It's what do you want your money to do? What is the purpose behind that?
Yeah.
And once you get that mindset, it's not, okay, well, yes, of course you want to make money when you're investing. Of course we all do.
Yeah.
But if that's all you're going for, then it's just, you're not passionate about it, right?
Yeah.
But if you live by those words and that thought, I think it goes a lot further.